Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have James Oraha on the line, and he's a principal over at Level Builders. James, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, so excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about some of the projects you're working on and what you've done also in the greater Chicago area. Haven't been out there in a long time. But before we do that, let's go a little bit further into your business. So tell us a little bit more about Level Builders and what you offer.
Well, Adam, we are a boutique general contracting firm specialized in everything such as medical, office, industrial, and retail, and restaurants. We do, build outs as small as 1,000 square feet, and some of the bigger ones we've done are about 15,000 square feet. Pretty
That's
much
awesome.
it.
And what areas do you typically work in?
Well, it always varies. I mean, right now the hot trend is medical, fitness, and daycare. But it's always changing. Retail. We started doing a lot of retail, but retail has slowed down a little bit. We're finding ourselves being, more and more busy with your urgent care centers, dental offices, daycare centers. More of your, e-commerce, office, stuff like that. We still do a little bit of, T-Mobiles and AT&Ts, but, before we were finding ourselves building out shoe stores and clothing stores, and now that's kind of scaled down a little bit in the last few years.
You've been in this business for a long time. Going on 2 decades, maybe more. That being said, what kind of trends are you noticing that are interesting, in design or otherwise? Because whether it's building materials or otherwise.
We see more and more clients scaling down their space, their usage, or their stores. Before we were building subways that were 2,400 square feet, and now I think they realize, it's more a grab and go location. So they've scaled down a lot of their stores, and when they're scaling them down, they're also doing polished concrete or more LVT versus before 10, 12 years ago they were doing tile, and they're spending all this money on millwork, and now it's like a lot of it is like value engineered and whatever can take a beating a lot better, where there's less maintenance on the furniture or the finished product. So I would say more bare bone than it used to be.
Yeah, I think I've noticed that too. Like when I walk into certain new things, you kind of see it, and I guess I could tell the functionality of it. So in the beginning, maybe it was more so establishing the brand and other things like that, specifically at Subway too, because I eat a lot of Subway for some reason. And now when you see a new one pop up, it doesn't feel, it's just not the same as when they were first launching, in my opinion.
No, yeah, and we see that happening with, your Jimmy John's, your, Potbellies, and believe it or not, even with Starbucks. If you look at the old Starbucks, they were built out, 10 years ago, they were 2,500, 3,000 square feet. And today, I drive around, I see these little metal containers, those storage containers, the size of a Starbucks would be the size of that. And a lot of their business is drive-thrus. And Dunkin' Donuts is taking that route too now. So they are scaling down, but I think, people just don't have the time to go in and sit down at a restaurant or, QSR, like a quick serve restaurant or coffee shop. So they want to grab and go, whether it's doing a drive-through or just walk in, grab it, and, take off. But I do see a lot of, restaurants scaling down the size of their locations.
Have you done any work in like the whole creative space? I know you mentioned working with like e-commerce brands and things like that in the creative or co-op type work environment.
Yeah, so there's times where, you know, like a landlord would call us and tell us, hey, we have a tenant. They don't have an architect, but, you know, they know what they want. They have pictures of it, so they need your help to, you know, help them design and, you know, obviously build a place. And when we do that, we have an like in-house architect we work with, as you know, they always come in and, you know, it's a basic referral. You know, we refer the tenants or the client to an architect and help with the design of the space. Meaning, like, you know, we try to help the architect and the client design their space at a reasonable budget, because we've built so many things and we know the cost of certain materials. So when they are using a specific piece of material, we know the client, his budget is only X amount of dollars. We would be there to help the client, tell the architect, no, let's use this kind of material versus that, but try to achieve the same goal, but the same look of what they're trying to accomplish.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, trying to get the job done under what they can afford and getting it done on time. That's awesome. So, what do you see? So, what are the plans? I mean, you've been in business for a long time now. What are plans for the company going forward? Like, what's next for Level Builders?
So that's interesting because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, we see certain things scaling back and another industry growing faster. Like, you know, medical is like booming right now. Health fitness is booming right now. So we are restructuring ourselves like to be a more of a medical office fitness construction company. Not that we wouldn't do the other stuff, but it just seems like right now that is a hot trend. And we try to be in front of the trend as much as we can. So we try to educate ourselves and teach and understand what market, like which facilities are going into whatever market, and understand that market and understand the concept. So when we do meet with new clients, we can, you know, understand what they're trying to, you know, accomplish. So we try our hardest to, you know, educate ourselves with the trend, like the current trend these days. And I feel like it's more medical, daycare, and fitness, at least for now. That's what it is.
That's awesome. So that being said, James, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about Level Builders and connecting with you and your team, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect?
You know, we have our website that we are in the process of updating right now, but you know, you could go on levelbuilders.com. You could follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You know, Level Builders. I think it's, you know, Level Builders. That's it. Or maybe Chicago Level Builders. Yeah. But you can find us. I mean, we're there. www.levelbuilders.com, and that will point you to all the other different social media platforms.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, James, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great stuff you're doing over at Level Builders. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. I'd love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And James, thanks again for coming on the show.